What up, dude? And welcome to the Die Hard Den. It's your man, Kurt Steele.
What up? It's Willis Fattori.
And let's go. All right, my dude. Let's talk about this game, man. Let's get into it right quick. It was the mass unit game. A lot of injuries on both sides of the ball. I think they were down to their fourth running back. It was a low scoring game, but it wasn't as boring as last week's game.
I was about to ask, do you think this week's was as bad? I mean, I don't think anything can come close to the Cardinals game, but it was much better.
It was as far as the scores are concerned, it wasn't it wasn't much better, but I could think that they both moved the ball some. It wasn't a lot of 3 and outs. You didn't see Sam Martin on the field a lot,
Yeah, actually, I'm coming to think of it, there were so many Kenny Galladay sick catches.
Oh man, he lit it up.
The chains, and then I would be geeked, and then I don't think anything would happen for the rest of the time. I'd still be like pumped as I'm grabbing another beer or something. I'm like, I can't believe he made that catch.
Yeah.
The commercial, it's like, oh, you guys just punted. I'm like, all right, well, that was still a sick catch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bummer. I mean, I think it was pretty noticeable. You and I were talking about it during the game and stuff. Stafford is so he's hurt, he's injured, and
he's
obvious now. They've been talking about it. The media members for the broadcast team, they meet with these guys throughout the week, and he can't sit down. It's
bad.
A free press that they shut the locker room doors, which are normally always open, so that you can talk to Stafford. Probably because the treatment is just so intense, but you got to think about the future of the franchise. We were talking about this off air. I say shut them down, man. The playoff thing's out, man. So I mean, shut them down. I mean, it makes no sense. Like you were saying, if he was 100% healthy, okay, like Rodgers right now, I would kind of understand. And if he was going for a record, so he's got this consecutive records thing, and I this isn't Cal Ripken Jr.'s record.
No.
It ended up being. It's not that big of a deal. I personally think Stafford's not one of these mobile quarterbacks like Cam Newton who's getting lit up. I mean, he does get a fair share of sacks and stuff. He gets beat up, but I expect guys who are making this much money to try to start every game. But you're hurt. You're hurt. If you were 100% and you wanted to keep going for this record, fine, whatever. Because then you're going to be pulling a Rodgers where you're like, I'm not throwing in the towel these last 2 weeks. And what it is, but dude, why would you even risk yourself? You're not that young of a player anymore. Isn't he 30?
Yeah, he's 30 years old. Yeah, he just turned 30 this season.
And you could make that back injury worse. Why don't we talk to Tony Romo in the CBS booth about that back injury? He rushed.
For real. Yeah.
There's no need for it.
I say, Patricia, shut him down. Matt Castle can start the last 2 games.
Yeah.
You bring the practice squad guy up to be the backup.
And this isn't tanking, and there's no shame in doing it.
It's no shame, man. No shame at all.
100%. They tried to make the playoffs as long as they could. There's no way. There's absolutely no way we can make them now. There was up until last week's loss. There's no excuse now. At this point, I just feel like you're being a reckless coach if you're putting people out there. Personally, I want to see multiple people being shut down. So Stafford, I want to see Castle in there. Let's just put Kerryon on the IR with his knee.
Yep.
Let's shut down Sean Hand for sure. We just brought Zenner up, who I like. He got a ton of touches last game. Keep feeding him the rock. As bad as this might sound, I doubt he's going to be on the roster next year. I don't really care if he gets worn down these last 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? But, shut it down. I've seen improvement for the defense. I like what these rookies have been doing. I know Davis had a mess up with that penalty offsides, and he really talked about it in the locker room afterwards. Let a couple of reporters quote him with an F-bomb, too, to let everybody know he realizes he screwed up, but keep playing the youth and look towards the draft. That's the best way you can improve now.
Yeah, it's you just want to look toward the future. You don't want to have an incident where somebody's getting hurt and you're risking their career, and you can, like you said, with the Romo, with the back injury,
Right.
And it just doesn't make any sense.
It's like Quinn, keep him healthy. Maybe you want to trade him too. You want to keep that asset in the best possible condition.
Yeah. So looking at the offensive side of the ball, like I said, Stafford, he had a decent game, over a couple hundred yards passing. What else did you see besides Mr. Zenner?
I mean, so what caught my eye, I liked Tyrell Crosby in there, the rookie. He's been in and out, kind of a plug-and-play guy. Probably a starter next year, so I liked seeing that. I thought he and Ragnow played well. Buffalo's kind of an underrated defense, in my opinion. And Kenny G. Outside of those players, I mean, it was like the Kenny Galladay show. Pretty much all of Stafford's yards went to him.
Yeah.
And, which I don't really have a problem with. He's going to be the wide receiver 1 next year, in my opinion. But
yeah, I think Jones is going to move to the 2.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Now, get on the side of the defensive side of the ball. I mean, had some problems early with the run, but
figured it out. Snaps.
Yeah, figured it out.
Sick.
Snacks.
Oh,
yeah.
Snacks, man.
And then Slay. I mean, they just tried it with Slay. I mean, and I think that PI was garbage. I think it was like kind of a makeup call. I think he may have gotten away with one
earlier. That's what I was same thing. It's like earlier in that drive.
But that PI was not. He was sick in coverage. I mean,
those fans too. My buddy actually. I had a couple Lions in the New York City area Pride division, whatever you want to call it. My the New York Pride. They traveled to the game. Obviously, got crazy with the Bills Mafia. There's like this guy apparently outside who gets like sprayed with mustard and ketchup from head to toe. Have you heard about this?
No, I know that they jump through they do the tables and stuff.
I was just beyond me, but there's just like this 60-year-old dude was like head to toe covered in mustard and ketchup. Anyway, my buddy was sending me videos inside the stadium, and there was like pure hatred and vitriol being thrown at those referees. Because Slay, you know how he does the finger wag and he goes to the crowd, and he was getting all worked up. Everybody was getting worked up. So I think that was a makeup call, like you said. And then those fans, Buffalo is not the classiest fan base if they're jumping through tables, house and old men and catch up. But
the Bills Mafia is something else. I mean, just looking at but Slay, he was beasting it out. I mean, and Davis is I think he's kind of the game's just kind of speeding up for him, slowing down so he can play faster.
I love him on running plays. He's awesome. I mean, he's so fast, but his coverage skills. People, I'm seeing more and more articles about this. You think about maybe moving him to the outside.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. The only issue to me was that someone like you have a weak side or outside linebacker, they have to cover running backs, and he needs to learn how to do that. And if he can,
I'd rather him try to cover a running back. I hear you. But then like a slot receiver, because they're really like 4 to 5, and I don't even know how many times the Lions would play those guys, but there are only a handful of those running backs who are really, really dangerous out of the backfield as receivers.
Yeah. So but. I hear you. I mean, I can understand that. So, I mean, if you can look at that going forward, that may be a possibility for him.
Maybe you draft a new linebacker. You never know.
Maybe.
Look at that.
So, but overall, I mean, like the secondary played good. I mean, we got to Allen one time. Kennard. I mean, I like his season.
He's been a good pickup. He's been a really good addition.
Good pickup. Okwara, who's probably going to be more of a long-term guy, with Ziggy probably exiting the building at the end of the season. He's already on IR. I don't see the Lions re-signing him. I think he may be done. I don't see. I mean, he might sign for a veteran minimum somewhere else, but it won't be in Detroit. No, I just don't see it. He's just not kind of worth that, with the injury risk, and he hasn't played very much the last 3 seasons. So I mean,
I want him to do well, and I think he's healthy. But like, how many times the definition of insanity? I mean, we're all insane for going back and watching this team every week and expecting like calling the Kevin Black here, but we keep banking on him being so important for our defense's success.
Yeah.
And like it just is what it is at this point. You know what I'm saying? I wish he was a different. It's the same thing kind of with one of my buddies brought this up, like with Grant Hill, how there's kind of this like resurgence in how people are remembering him, and he was a great player. But then it's like, damn man, those ankles. If only those ankles. And it's just like, well, how many red flags did you guys need? They were always going to be a problem, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's why at the end of his career, he had like a lot of longevity when he was playing when he was older in Phoenix, because he hadn't had that much miles on his body from Detroit or Orlando, where he just wasn't playing. He wasn't playing.
Right. They finally figured out like the minutes, his rehab, his body was finally figured out, the ankle surgeries. You had all these people rushing. Yeah. It's just not going to work out here. We wish him the best in the future, obviously, but that money can be invested wisely in other positions, other players. You might be able to bring in like a couple people for the amount of money that he costs. So
yeah, definitely some young guys. Maybe some young draft pick, or maybe a younger talented free agent. You may be able to pick up.
Right. I trust him. He's done a pretty good job. Lang was hurt. Yeah. I've liked Wagner for the most part. He added Snacks. Yeah. We love Snacks. We love Kennard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the defensive side of the ball that had so much problem at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year,
nice.
Looked nice. So, I mean, if we can get the offense, some healthy players and, those skill positions, you're going to have to bring in another a wide receiver, slot guy.
Yeah.
I just think those guys that we have are backups now, like TJ Jones, to be honest with you, I don't see him even making another NFL squad. I mean, that's just me. I just don't see this. Not. I mean, it may. Even as a returner, I just don't see it. Maybe a special teams guy, if that, but I just don't see it.
I got Kamara, obviously. I got Kamara and Tariq Cohen on my fantasy teams. I just keep. I don't think Theo Riddick is that level of a player, but he has similar abilities as those guys. I'd love to see him. There's going to be a new offensive coordinator, so we got to see who they bring in and what type of scheme. But man, everybody, we've been saying this for years, like use Theo more.
Yeah.
He could be that running back who lines up in the slot like Cohen does all the time in Chicago. I hate
how do it.
Games I've been watching.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's useful because then you got Jones and Kenny on the outside. We definitely need the third guy. The third guy, but I'm now all about where are we spending our money? And it feels like these sick teams, they all invest on the defensive side of the ball, right? You pay a couple of skill players, and then you got to hope you have that rookie quarterback, right? Rams loaded. Chiefs have cheap Mahomes with those skill players sprinkled in their defensive backs, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And the Bears defense is sick. It's awesome. Yep. So jealous.
Yeah. We're looking at the offseason, looking at like the draft status. We're at currently picked up 3 spots, so we're at number 7 now.
Yep. Project we're 7th pick right now.
It's a 7th pick right now. And I think by the end of the year we could probably be number 5 by the end of the season. Let's look at some guys that got drafted the last couple of years at number 7. Last year, the guy we just played, Josh Allen, was number 7 pick for the Bills. I
think he's pretty good. His mobility is nice. He's like just a way more athletic Big Ben to me,
Yeah, and then you got Williams for the Chargers, big receiver out of Clemson.
He's played nicely this year.
Yeah. Then you had DeForest Buckner, who was a beast out there in San Francisco. Then the bust, you have Kevin White, who hasn't played any significant snaps. And then going back one more year, you have Mike Evans out of Tampa Bay. So he's a big beast wide receiver.
Right.
Looking at number.
This is for real.
Yeah. So number 5 now. Looking at those guys are more, you'll get more solid players except for our draft pick. 2018, last year we had Chubb out of the defensive end out of to the Broncos. Corey Davis to the Titans. He's played better this year. Yeah, 16. You had Jalen Ramsey.
We love him. I love.
You had Washington took the tackle. What's his name? Chief.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Oakland took Khalil Mack in 2014.
Stellar.
And then the one before that is, guess who? 2013, Ziggy Ansah was our guy at number 5 back then.
Of course.
But, our draft class for this year for Mel Kiper, he gave us a B-, which, at middle of the road, average student, B-. For the place we were in the draft, I can understand that grade, but who are some guys that you're looking at that you think the Lions should pick up?
There's a couple. So the top 3, looking at the teams who have picks ahead, nobody really needs a quarterback, right? Arizona's going to probably have the first pick. They're set. Jets have the 3rd pick. They're set. Niners have the 4th pick. They're set. Falcons have Matt Ryan, and then the Raiders have Derek Carr. So, pretty much everybody who's going to be at the top is settled at that position, which is weird, right? I don't think anybody's really going to be moving up. There aren't that many good quarterback prospects really either.
Yeah,
I think
not in this draft class.
Oklahoma's quarterback comes out, that might raise some eyebrows, but defense is the key of this year.
Yep.
Bosa won't be available, unfortunately. I think he's going to go 1, but there's a couple of guys. If you're going to add something on the other side of Darius, I like the cornerback out of LSU. He'll probably be a top 5 pick, though, so I doubt he'd be there.
Greedy Williams?
Yep. He'd be awesome. He's 6'3".
Yep.
Led the SEC in interceptions. He'd be awesome opposite of Slay.
Yep.
If you can't get him, this guy might be another maybe top 5 player. The guy out of Kentucky, Josh Allen. Different Josh Allen than Buffalo's Josh Allen, but he'd be
the linebacker.
Right. He'd be a DN linebacker. One of those combo guys. He played great this season. Another cornerback, DeAndre Baker, out of Georgia. He was nice.
Out of Georgia. Yeah.
And then 2 D linemen. One guy I'm really high on. I just don't see him playing D end really. He played nose tackle in college out of Houston. He was going to maybe be the number 1 overall pick, but he had some injuries and stuff. I just don't see us needing him. You got Deshaun Hand, Snacks Harrison, and Ashawn's played unreal since Snacks joined. So
yeah,
I doubt that we take him, but that just might be dictating best player on the board type thing.
Yeah.
And Clemson has got some horses too.
Yeah.
Llewellyn is a dog. He's unreal.
Yeah. Looking at some of the secondary guys, I had a couple more guys in the secondary. I was looking at a cornerback out of Notre Dame, Love. He's
I know you're size. I was watching some stuff. Notre Dame, I feel like they haven't gotten any attention this year.
Yeah, because they're not in the conference.
Right. It's this graphic for ESPN or something. It's college football playoff. How's it? It's Oklahoma, Bama. They have Clemson. Then there's a picture of UCF's coach, and then a picture of Urban Meyer. And Notre Dame quote tweeted it the whole football program was just a bunch of an ellipsis. What the hell? I would be pissed off too.
I mean, the only thing for me really is that the quality, their schedule outside of Michigan earlier in the season. I mean, they're undefeated, but their strength of schedule kind of really hurting those guys.
So funny that they didn't even get on there. But
so that guy, Julian, he's a sturdy guy. He's close to 200 pounds for his size. So, and then the safety out of Alabama, Deontay Thompson.
I'm always pro.
6'2", 194. Not saying that that may be a guy where he can move around back there. He probably maybe can play that Viper type of role. Pretty sturdy again, 6'2", 194. And
everybody always puts on so much weight when they come to the NFL too. Once you get the pro dietitian and weightlifting, and you don't have to worry about class.
Saban's guys, those guys, most guys in the secondary, look at Mark Barron. Those guys, HaHa Clinton, those guys are pro ready.
secondary, like personally. That's what he coached
Yeah.
in Cleveland and stuff. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Minka Fitzpatrick in Miami too. He's been nice.
Yeah. So those guys are going to come in the league. They're going to be pro ready coming into the league. So those are the other two guys that I saw. Looking at the secondary that I like coming out. If those other guys aren't available.
There's one Saban secondary guy that I don't like. Actually, he was taken in the same year as Ziggy Ansah. I wanted him instead of Ziggy Ansah. Can you guess who it is?
No. 2013.
D. Milner to the Jets.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, is he even still in the league?
I don't think so, but he's like to bring it up. I blew up when we took Ziggy because why would you not take Milner? But it ended up working out hard. But
it worked out for a while, but it didn't.
Those other players obviously, but Ziggy was better than Milner, so I was there.
Yeah. So looking at the guys, who do you don't think is going to be on the roster going forward next year?
I think Lang's going to be gone. I think offensive side of the ball we can run through. So we already have we talked about TJ Jones. Center won't be here. Lang won't be here. And then there'll probably be some rotational players too that are escaping my mind. But in terms of like meaningful snaps, I think that might be
looking at a
lot of it's going to be defensive. Ziggy's going to be gone. Glover Quinn's going to be gone. What's Devin Lawson's contract like?
He just signed an extension, I believe, last year.
He's straight.
So, I think if you move him moving the slot. I mean, he's fast enough where he can cover a slot receiver. He had the speed. He's not big enough to cover the outside guys. That's his problem.
I'd rather have him than Tabor in there.
Yeah. I think Tabor might be gone.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
I hate when when a rookie, if you see him trending up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But he's been hurt like every game he's been in. I don't think he's had a good game this whole season.
I think maybe the first or second, where he came in, he was kind of the starter, the de facto starter at the beginning of the year.
Shot right, and it was kind of because of injuries and stuff. And that first drive against San Francisco, they just picked on him the entire drive down.
Yeah,
their first touchdown was just all.
It's just a scheme. The Lions play man, and at Florida where he kind of flourished, they played zone.
Right.
And you can hide speed. You can hide lack of speed in a zone coverage. But when it comes to playing man, he's just gonna be out there on the island. And he doesn't have the speed and the skill set to compete outside.
Right.
In a man coverage scheme. So
playing the best athletes in the world that can't keep them, it's gonna get exposed. So
he can go somewhere and play in his own system, and he'll be fine, but like maybe Carolina or something like that, but he can't play predominantly man like they do in Detroit, so he's gonna have to move on. Because even looked at Patricia's defense in New England, they play a lot of man coverage, not a lot of zone. So, I mean, you were out there, and that's what your job. So we need that speed guy, the guy with tremendous cover skills on the other side of Slay. And he's just not fast enough.
Greedy is.
Greedy is fast. He's blazing. I think Baker is, because Baker's outside. He's an outside lockdown guy as well.
Baker would be nice.
So I mean, if Greedy's not there,
a step above him. Yeah,
he's got a little more size. He's 6'3", where Baker's only 5'11". That's 6 feet range. So they're prototypical cornerback size. 5'11", 6 feet, maybe 6'1". Right. Greedy Williams is pretty big, tall at 6'3", weighs the same. About 185, but. Looking at that personnel, I mean, I don't think Ricky Jean-Francois is going to be back.
No,
I think they may go younger. He's been an integral part, but with Snacks coming in and with Ashawn playing better with Snacks, I see Ricky John Braswell going somewhere else.
Right.
If not,
the reason I could see him staying is just that veteran. I loved him in the locker room. I think he was great for the press. I mean, he said all the right things.
Yeah.
I think he's an invaluable role model for some of those young guys. A'Shawn has been temperamental like his whole career. Everybody's known that. That's been documented.
Yeah.
And he didn't play that great until Snacks showed up. But I got to feel like Snacks and Francois kind of got his head on right.
And it may be a loyalty thing to Patricia thing as well. You know, so it may be where
you know, New England.
Yeah. So it may be one of those things. Looking at the linebackers, to be honest with you, I'm surprised. Reeves-Maybin, he's not the prototypical guy for that defense. They like bigger linebackers. I'm not saying he's going to go. I say it may be a possibility because you got Jones that signed a 2 or 3 year deal. Some of those other guys, you know, like Eli Harold, they may be on like a 1 year contract or something like that. So he may be, you know, but he fits that mold though. He's a big, rangy outside linebacker that can play defensive end. So, and
he's had injuries following him too. You know, they're just cut your ties thing.
Yeah. So I mean, Reeves-Maybin, it may be if he sticks around, it may be a special teams type deal. But other than that, you know, you may get one of the two of those guys. You may lose Harold or Christian Jones, but I think Christian Jones and Kennard may be sticking around.
Yeah,
they got that veteran leadership, and then they got, like I said, they fit that mold. That those taller, rangier outside linebackers that can rush.
I'm hoping if he does it again, I'd be very, very happy with him coming back.
Who's that?
Kennard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely, we're happy with Kennard coming back. But maybe I think that's it. I think there's going to be some changes at position coaches. I think the linebackers coach he'd probably be safe. Maybe tight end coach may go. Wide receivers,
offensive guys are going to be gone.
Yeah, wide receivers coach. Yeah, I know we talked about this several times. Jim Bob Cooter is going to be gone. Cooter's I think he's Waters welcome. It's just the thing that really frustrated me with Jim Bob Cooter is that you can see like some plays where it's like, oh, it was creative and it was, and then all of a sudden it's just so vanilla the rest of the game.
Yeah,
where it's like
take what the defense gives us. And blah, blah, blah. Come on,
it's just too vanilla. You mean you have to, and I think but I think that's some of the issues was going around with some of the other coordinators in the league as well. You look at, they're not line focus, but look at the last 3 weeks with the Rams and the Saints, where these guys are, their point totals are way down.
Yeah.
I mean, guys are figuring it out, so you have to stay creative. You have to keep your finger on the pulse, do more things. I think that's some of the things that's like the Rams, they run almost their whole offense is one person position group where they run 11 personnel, which is, one running back, one tight end, 3 wide receivers, and they run that the whole game.
Yeah.
I mean, but they run multiple. Their key is that they out of the same look, where with the Lions, what I see is that what you're going to get when a personnel group comes in. You know what type of play you're going to get. And it's not creative at all, except for, I think one time where they had Dahl in and at the fullback and they threw the ball and it was an effective play. Well, why not do that more often? Because they know if they see Dahl in at fullback, it's going to be a run.
Yeah. It's just lack of creativity, and the personnel, like injuries, plays a factor too. But
yeah, that's true. That's true. Because,
a more up-tempo offense. I think that's the way the NFL is trending as it is.
Yeah, you're not going to do a lot.
Burleson kind of how he's more comfortable in like the 2-minute offense too. Let's just. Yeah, I want to see that.
Stafford can run a 2-minute offense. I mean, he can do it. We know he can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, so, but going forward, So getting close to the end of the show here. We talked about the draft. We talked about personnel. And one thing I want to highlight is my man, Big Play Slay. For that week against the Cardinals, he was the NFC Defensive Player of the Week with his interception return for a touchdown. I mean, the guy is a beast. He's had a kind of a down year, to be honest, but he's playing better as late. I think that he was kind of getting overworked with the lack of talent on the other side of the ball, where teams were just gonna flood his zone. But I always think that he's a Pro Bowl caliber type player, and he is definitely one of the leaders in that defense. But big shout outs to Big Play Slay. He is doing his thing. The week 15 defensive player of the week. So looking ahead, I don't see we got Minnesota this week.
Hopefully a loss, yep, and then Green Bay to end it.
Then Green Bay to win. So two divisional games, one at home, one on the road. So I just don't see us winning out. I think we're going to be at that number 5.
They better not win out.
Well, yeah. So I mean,
yeah, I'd rather see Minnesota in the playoffs than Chicago.
Yes. But Chicago's, they already won the North, so so you got another maybe that wild card. I mean they
North team that represents us. I'd want it to be Minnesota. I just can't stand it's like all these bandwagon Bears fans. But
yeah, they're like bandwagon Cowboy fans.
It's bandwagon central. It's insane. How many have
bandwagon
Detroit to Chicago after graduation, and then they became Cubs fans magically? Oh, we did it! 100 years. Like bullshit. You used to watch the
Dude, you were a Tigers fan.
So tickets for the Tigers for 6 years. You just forgot about that.
Yeah. So.
Sorry, I'm now just thinking about all these Bears fans.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. So, yeah, I don't see us winning those 2 games. Hopefully, like I said, they're going to put Stafford on the shelf for the rest of the season. Some of that news may be coming out here in the next couple hours. So, but hey, my man, as I said, it's always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
We will get at you next week after the Minnesota game. For everybody, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We probably we won't be recording the show on Christmas, so it'll be the next day, the 26th. We don't do our Christmas is fine. We'll be with family, so we'll check at you after Christmas. So you won't hear us next week, 1 week from today, but you give us a day or so to kind of spend with our families and relax and enjoy your holiday season and Christmas, and we'll be back right after Christmas, before the new year. So with that said, as always, one pride, defend the den. It's your man Kurt Steele
and Wills Fattori. Don't defend the den these last 2 games.
and with that, we'll say peace.